$125,000?
But you signed the contract on behalf of all of Aperture,
Yes.
not just your office, correct?
Yes.
That I don't know.
Oh, whatever.
But I definitely did sign a contract.
You testified on direct that there was a purchase of a Lexus exemplar for your testing.
Correct.
Who pays for that Lexus exemplar?
Aperture?
And is that then passed on to the Commonwealth?
No. We paid for the Lexus. We're keeping it till the trial's over. We're selling it and charging the Commonwealth the difference in the price.
Exactly.
I can't think of a single expert that would be paid this much. It's a bribe, folks. It's 100% a bribe. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up. It's the Law with attorney Larry Forman. Folks, today we are going to do Judson Welcher. Now, Welcher has been on the stand for almost 9 hours. Now, are we going to do a 9-hour video? Heck no. Anybody who comes to the DUI Guy channel, attorney Larry Forman, Buckle Up show, you guys already know I bring you the meat. I take away the potatoes. I take away the broccoli. I take away all that nasty stuff that everybody else is wasting your time with. I do not like to waste your time. Therefore, we're going to have 2 very short Welcher videos. I took just the important stuff. We're going to have 2 Welcher videos that I'm going to produce for you. This is one of them. Out of the 9-hour testimony, you're only going to get about 30 minutes of the most important pieces of his testimony. So without further ado, let's go. Oh, and before I forget, earlier today, we had a exclusive members-only Diddy video premiere. So if you have not seen it, go check it out. Memberships start at 99 cents a month. I try to make it as affordable as possible. That is the bottom tier. So if you are interested in me covering the Diddy trial, which I know there are very few of you out there, it's behind a paywall, and you're welcome to go see it. Thanks for being a subscriber. If you're not already, the button is right down below. And for those of you who are also members, thank you for being a member. All right, Welcher, let's go.
As I heard it to the last part, just hypotheses. You would agree that even though hypotheses can be created and changed perhaps all the way up to the end, you would agree that it's important in the analysis to create at least some hypotheses, plural, in the beginning, correct?
Yes.
And once you create these hypotheses, would you agree that those hypotheses should be tested?
So if you take the word testing to mean testing compared to testimony, compared to physical evidence, yes.
And when you test those hypotheses, isn't it often the case that, particularly in your line of work, the one that most consistently produces the same injury will emerge as the mechanism of injury?
I guess it depends on the scientific evidence behind it. Again,
By the way, he's also another guy who works for Aperture. If you remember Aperture, that's Shannon Burgess, the one with the fake degree, the one who lied about his education, got caught multiple times. And by the way, Brennan filed a motion of some sort because he said, you can't make this stuff up. He said that the defense sprung it upon him to bring in the LinkedIn profile of his own witness, Shannon Burgess from Aperture, and bringing it into evidence was improper because he did not know about it. Is this guy for real? It's his own witness. How do you not know this? Hopefully it's going to get denied. And not only that, for just last week, the reason Auntie Bev cut the trial short by 2 days, not because they're ahead of schedule as she lied to the jurors, she was going to be hung over for the rest of the week because she was being honored on Wednesday as Person of the Year by the Massachusetts Bar Association. And not only that, guess who was a platinum level sponsor at that dinner? Oh yes, the company that employs both Welcher and Burgess. Aperture! You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is all real, 100% real.
again, sometimes we get very unique injuries.
So my question, sir, is this. Isn't it the case that when you have multiple hypotheses, the one that most, out of all of them, it's a relative thing, the one that most consistently produces the same injury emerges as the mechanism of injury. Is that a fair statement?
I think generally, again, it's on a case-by-case basis. You have to look at the science and the facts of what you're basing it upon. I think as a general premise, what you're saying is accurate,
Okay,
but there's exceptions.
fair enough. But as a general principle,
Sure.
with some exceptions, that's a fair statement, correct?
Yes, sir.
We're going to have several topics, sir, and what I'm going to try to do to make it a little clear is I'm going to say when I'm switching topics.
Oh, good.
So what I'd like to do now is switch topics.
Okay.
You're aware that the Massachusetts State Police has troopers who specialize in accident reconstruction, correct?
Yes.
And there are troopers within the Massachusetts
Trooper Paul.
State Police Collision Analysis and Reconstruction Section, whose sole responsibility is to engage in accident reconstruction. Do you know that?
I do not know that.
Do you know that there are troopers within the Massachusetts State Police Collision Analysis and Reconstruction Section who engage in accident reconstruction?
Just based on what I've seen in this case.
Right, based upon what you've seen in the case, that's a fair statement.
And I just know that those people are doing it.
Are you familiar with a Massachusetts state trooper named Joseph Paul?
Oh, God.
P-A-U-L?
Yes.
And you
Well,
know,
I'm familiar with his reports. I don't know the man.
okay, familiar with Trooper Paul through his reports
They're
in this
so
case,
bad.
correct?
By the way, folks, if you have not seen my breakdown of Trooper Paul, it's a 4-part series from last year. But I did it, I premiered it, I want to say 2 weeks ago on my channel, something like that. It's very fresh, very new. Go check it out. Oh my God. The incompetence of that man is staggering. I only did the cross. It was about an hour and a half. Spread across 4 episodes, totaling about 2 hours maybe. Trust me, it is the best 2 hours that you will spend this weekend. Trust me, you want to go see it. His level of incompetence is so staggering. Like, he makes Shannon Burgess look like a qualified expert. I'll just say that. And you're going, whoa! Oh yes, oh yes. Trooper Paul is giving Shannon Burgess a run for his money as the #1 most incompetent expert on the planet. Yeah, it's that bad. Go check it out.
Are you aware that he was assigned by lead investigator, former Trooper Michael Proctor, to be a reconstructionist in this case on January 29th of 2022, as evidenced by that report or those reports of Trooper Paul? Do you know that?
Well, you put a lot of things in there. I know he issued a reconstruction report. I don't know who told him to do it. So the first part of your question, I don't know, but I did see a reconstruction report from him.
You were retained, and so do you recall, is it the date, January 29th of 2022, is that a rough time period of him being assigned, or you don't know when he was assigned?
Don't know. That might have been in his report, but I wouldn't have paid attention to when he received an assignment.
Do you know when, the date of the first report of Trooper Joseph Paul in this case?
I can pull it up. I do not know off the top of my head.
You know that the date of the incident in question is January 29th, 2022, correct?
Correct.
Yet your firm and you were retained for this case by the Commonwealth 2.5 years
Oh, wow.
after the incident in question. You were retained, your firm, on September 23rd, 2024. Is that correct, sir?
No, I believe we were retained a couple days before that.
A couple days. Okay.
Correct.
So
Actually, I might be able to find out if you'd like me to look at the documents.
it's not all that important. You would say,
Wait a minute. So after they realized it didn't work the first trial, Lally was like, hey, Morrissey, I have an idea. Let's pay somebody to say exactly what we want them to say. Hey, Aperture, we need you to say this. Sure, we'll say it. Here's our price tag. What is the price tag? I hope they talk about it. I want to know.
it's within a week of September 23rd, 2000. It was in September of 2024.
I believe it was in September, yes.
Right.
I would
So
want to
After the
double-check.
first trial.
That's 2.5 years from the date of the incident in question.
Oh,
If I
that
did
is
the math
huge because it shows bias. It shows that they'll just say anything. If they were hired at the outset and they remained consistent, that'd be one thing. It's not only 2.5 years after the incident that's at issue, it's also 2 months, 2.5 months after the hung jury verdict, after the mistrial of trial #1. That is so telling how desperate the government is to try and convict Karen. It's
correct?
disgusting.
Oh, I never thought about it. Yeah, approximately.
And as we just discussed, and you stated on your direct examination, you have no dog in this fight, correct?
Correct?
On November 5th of 2024, your firm Aperture was paid $44,500 by the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office to conduct work that was at least similar to the work of Trooper Paul, correct?
44
I
grand.
have no idea. I don't get the billing or the statements.
Do you recall whether Aperture has, well, do you believe Aperture is working for free in this matter?
Oh, no, I don't believe that. No,
So
we're
you
an
would,
engineering company. We bill for our time. So
44,000.
you know that Aperture is getting paid for its work in this case, correct?
we are billing for our analysis work.
Well, you're not just billing, you're billing and getting paid, correct?
So I have not seen any of the payments. I would assume that we're getting paid, but I don't know that.
Sir, you are a senior vice president of Aperture, are you not?
I am.
You would know,
Oh, wow.
wouldn't you, if your firm was not getting paid for work since September 23rd of 2024, wouldn't you?
Oh, come on.
No, probably not. Usually it takes, 9, 10, 12 months of not getting paid before the accounting department reaches out to me.
Exactly. So you've been on this for 2.5 years. So if it would take 9 months or 12 months, if you weren't getting paid, you would have been notified by that by now, correct? According to your own answer you just
Wait, hold on,
gave.
let's see.
I've not been on this case for 2.5 years.
I'm sorry, sir. Let me go back to the question of payment.
Hold on. You said I've been on this case for 2.5 years. I was
Yeah, that's not-
retained in September 17th.
Right, you said that.
ish of 2024. So that's what?
8 months?
Less than a year ago.
Understood. I'm moving on to the next question because I want to move away from that discussion and just
Okay.
go right to the bill. You, as you sit here today, do not
He
have
misspoke, I think.
a recollection of whether Aperture has been paid. Is that your testimony?
It has nothing to do with recollection. I'm not part of that process. We have an accounting department. I don't have any involvement in that.
Are you, so is your testimony you have no knowledge about any contractual relationship between Aperture and the Commonwealth?
Oh, no. I was sent a contract by the Commonwealth to sign, so I'm aware of the contractual agreement.
Ah.
But the day-to-day or month-to-month invoicing and billing, I'm not involved in that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
you're
so that's
aware.
important. So he's agreeing that you're aware that there's a contract between Aperture, you, and the Commonwealth. Yes. Excellent. Now,
There's a contract between Aperture and the Commonwealth,
I signed it.
and you signed it. And wasn't that contract obligating the Commonwealth to pay for the services of Aperture? Isn't that the purpose of the contract, in part?
In part, sure.
Yeah, it's a legal obligation of the Commonwealth. Your firm does work, and the Commonwealth pays for it, correct?
That's the idea.
Right. And so you know about that contract because you signed it.
Correct.
Also, you testified on direct that there was a purchase of a Lexus exemplar for your testing.
Correct.
Who pays for that Lexus exemplar?
Aperture?
And is that then cost passed on to the Commonwealth?
No.
So
What?
you pay for the Lexus, you don't pass that cost on,
What?
correct?
So what we're doing is we paid for the Lexus. We're keeping it till the trial's over. We're selling it and charging the Commonwealth the difference in the price.
Exactly. That was where I was going, sir. So
But they're only paying the difference. So, and in theory, if we sell it for more in California, then we'll reduce the bill.
okay, I don't want to speculate. I just wanted to see what the obligation was.
Yeah.
So
The
it's-
obligation is the difference.
Exactly. So the obligation is the difference. Are
I
you
see.
aware that
Okay.
on April 5th, 2025, the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office amended your contract? Are you aware of that, sir?
I am.
And isn't it the case that that amendment authorized the amount of $325,000 to be paid to Aperture? Isn't that what that amendment contract states?
I believe that's correct.
Wow.
So the Commonwealth is obligated to pay at least $325,000, and is that correct?
That is you're asking me a legal opinion now about a contract. That is my understanding of how contracts work, but I'm certainly not an attorney.
Well, dude, you're making yourself look like a fool. It's a simple question. Was the contract amended or not? $325,000? You cannot be serious. Okay, you guys, I'm about to tell you something that you're probably not ready for. There are experts out there that are insanely expensive. Insanely expensive. Some of the most expensive experts are going to be those in like a medical malpractice case. I handle medical malpractice cases, 1-844-774-HERD. If you need us, call us. But not the point of this. Listen to this. Listen to this. I'm about to blow your minds from experience. There was a case that my friend and his dad, they have a law firm, they settled very recently. It was a Ford rollover case. The bearings, the weight bearing of the Ford was insufficient, and the Ford rolled over, the woman got crushed, and Ford ended up paying 8-figure settlement, somewhere in that region, I believe. I don't have any evidence of this. It's just things I've heard on the grapevine. In Georgia. This was in Georgia. And the experts in that case, because I was curious, like, how much did they spend? Collectively, on all of the experts, every single expert who testified in that case, or was going to testify, they did the deposition. I mean, they spent years on that case down in Georgia. It was less than $250,000. All experts combined. And it was one of the most highly, litigated cases. Like, anytime you think like pharmaceuticals, tobacco, car manufacturers, that sort of thing, you're going to get into the hundreds of thousands of dollars because you have 20 experts lined up, and you have to also pay for the depositions of your opponent's experts. So it gets really, really pricey. It gets really expensive. And that's normal. In a normal case that's like a personal injury case, your experts are going to run you $5,000. If it's a multi-million-dollar wrongful death case, your experts may run you about $100,000 collectively, total, on a 10, 20, 30, $40 million case. Aperture is getting $325,000 as a single expert, not including all the other experts that they paid for. That is a bribe. That's a bribe. It is not commensurate with industry standards. It is not commensurate with industry practices. It is not commensurate with industry rates. It is not commensurate with anything but, I need you to say what I need you to say, and I'll give you anything you want for it. Okay, give us $350,000. Okay, here you go. Okay, we'll say what you need us to say. Thank you. Nice doing business with you. It's a bribe. That is the dead giveaway that it's a bribe. You piece of...
On top of that, are you aware that Aperture has been already paid $44,510 for its work? Are you aware of that?
The second time you asked me, no. I'm not aware of anything we've been paid.
And as you stated yourself, those amounts reflect, as you say, less than 6 months worth of work?
That's not what I said.
Well, no, my question is, you've been on the case, you said, since September of 2024, when we were talking about dates. You said that was about 6 months that your firm's been retained. Did I have your answer correct about how long you've been on it?
I guess it's closer to 8 months.
All right, so 8 months. So for 8 months of work, about $400,000. Is that correct?
So there's 3 offices working on the case. There's the Boston office.
So?
There's Mr. Burgess's office, and there's my office in Long Beach.
So?
I only know about the billing from my office.
But you signed the contract on behalf of all of Aperture,
Yes.
not just your office, correct?
Yes.
That I don't know.
Oh, whatever.
But I definitely did sign a contract.
Would it refresh your recollection
I'm so over this guy.
who you signed the contract on behalf of, whether it's all of Aperture in all offices, if I showed you the contract?
Sure.
May I put you on it?
Yes.
Dr. Welcher, does that refresh your recollection as to the contract you signed on behalf of Aperture with the Commonwealth?
So it lists the legal address as my office. So for my office, yes.
So are you saying that therefore And did you see the amount that was in the contract? Did that refresh your recollection?
Oh, no, I didn't even look at that.
Do you recall the amount that of obligation that the contract relates to in this document? Do you recall that?
You just asked me that earlier, and I'm taking what you said to be true. So I was like $325,000. I have no reason to disbelieve that.
And is there also a total, do you recall the total maximum obligation for the contract that's listed in the contract? You
No.
recall it? May I approach, Your Honor?
Okay.
I am now pointing to that part and see if you can just look at that and see whether this refreshes your recollection on the maximum obligation of the contract pursuant to this contract. Without saying what it is, just does it refresh your recollection?
No, but I don't have any reason to believe it's not correct. And that is my signature on it.
We got started on this conversation tying it to, well, we got started on this conversation with regard to a statement you made earlier in your direct that you didn't have any dog in the hunt. You recall that statement in the beginning of your direct testimony.
You misquoted me. I don't have any dog in the fight.
You don't have any dog in the fight.
Correct.
Thank you. Now, switching topics,
Okay.
you submitted an updated PowerPoint presentation, the one that you went over on your direct examination. You created that presentation quite recently, correct, sir?
The updated one was where I had redacted or taken out slides. So in terms of taking out slides, I did add one alternative path a couple weeks ago.
Wow, this scumbag. He knows he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar getting paid by Morrissey's office nearly $400,000. He is officially the most high-paid expert for a single case, possibly in the history of the United States. I have never heard of any expert being paid that much for a criminal case. Usually in civil cases where the stakes are high, I mean, I can see maybe some experts somewhere if it's like a tobacco case, and you'd still not as I can't think of a single expert that would be paid this much. It's a bribe, folks. It's 100% a bribe. There's no other way to describe it. It's a bribe. It's a frickin' bribe. And then Aperture took that money and funneled it right back in to become a platinum sponsor of the dinner that was held last week on May 22nd, I believe. Whatever that Wednesday was, maybe 21st, right before we broke for the long weekend, the long break, the 5-day break that we had, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, if you remember. On that Wednesday, there was a dinner. Aperture was a platinum sponsor. They're all feeding each other. Morrissey is feeding Aperture. Aperture is feeding the Bar Association, the Massachusetts Bar Association. Massachusetts Bar Association is feeding Canoni this BS award. I'm telling you, it's just her last award before she's out forever. It's like a last hurrah. They're just patting each other on the back. Very typical stuff. Very politics. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video.